Hey, it's the Empire, Geo-Boxing Empire, back to our boxing. Now, Billy Joe Saunders has been vocal about calling out Canelo and Triple G ever since his David Lemieux complete destruction and embarrassment of, Billy Joe Saunders going over to Canada and completely destroying David Lemieux. Now, after that fight, people were saying that Billy Joe Saunders will give Canelo and Triple G all they can handle. And I think they're right, man. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders is completely dominant in that fight. Billy Joe Saunders is bigger than I thought he was going to be in that David Lemieux fight. I never. David Lemieux is big. He's a big 160 fighter, and he made David Lemieux look small. So Billy Joe Saunders completely outboxed. I mean, he was physically stronger and did whatever he wanted to do to win that fight. Now, if Billy Joe Saunders can't get Triple G or Canelo, Daniel Jacobs has been calling him out, right? That's a great fight. Some people don't want to see it. Some people would say, why fight him when he's one or two steps away from getting a Canelo or a Triple G? But Daniel Jacobs was a pretty good fight for him. And Jamal Charlo is a decent fight for him as well. Now, if he can't get either of those two fights, there's one fighter who no one is talking about. That would be a great fight. And it would sort of be a unification fight. Now, there's this guy called Ryoto Murata, and he has the WBA middleweight title. You know, he has the regular middleweight title for the WBA, and that would be a great fight for Billy Joe Saunders because it would be a unification fight, and Billy Joe Saunders would be if he wins, if he beats Ryoto Murata, he'll become the mandatory for Triple G. So I think that's probably the best fight for him, not just to get another title, but it will make him a mandatory for Triple G quicker. You know, the thing is, you won't become a mandatory for these other world titles unless you fight for a smaller title within it. Like the WBC has the WBC regular title, and then they have the WBC silver title to become the mandatory of it. So those titles mean something, you know. So if Billy Joe Saunders really wants to say he really wants Triple G or Canelo, he should fight for their lesser titles, you know, that make them mandatories quicker. So I think Ryoto Murata would be a really good fight for him. I think Billy Joe Saunders should maybe think about fighting in Japan because that's probably that'll raise his profile definitely to the extreme. You know, Ryoto Murata is a power puncher basically. The guy has 13 wins and 10 knockouts, right? I thought he's really undefeated. He lost to Hassim Endam. He really beat the guy the first time, and they didn't give it to him. And then they ended up rematching, and the Ryoto ended up beating him. So, I mean, I think this guy's really an undefeated fighter. He's Japanese. He has a big following in Japan. And if he has another world title going over there, that's huge. It's a unification fight for Ryoto Murata and Billy Joe Saunders. It's just a big name fight. Now, this could be done either in the UK or Japan. In my opinion, I think at least for bigger fighters, Japanese fighters, they're really good at smaller weight classes. But for bigger fighters to be that good is like rare. So I think a lot of people will be supporting Ryoto Murata in Japan. So I think this fight is probably better for it to be in Japan. You know, I think Billy Joe Saunders should keep traveling and keep proving himself around the world. If he thinks he's really the world champion, he deserves to fight the best. So I think that's just my opinion, man. I think that's a good fight for Billy Joe Saunders if he wants to really push the whole Canelo Triple G thing. He really wants those fights. He needs to become the mandatory. He needs to become the mandatory for them, and the only way to do that, because usually they don't rank champions in the sanctioning bodies and other sanctioning bodies. And the only way you can really become a ranked fighter is if you fight for a lesser belt within the organization or the title organization. So yeah, man. I know Triple G has a WBA title, and he wants to become the mandatory. So you have to fight for the regular WBA title. The only way to do that is beating Ryoto Murata. You know, and I think knocking out Murata would be a good look for Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not looking past Murata, but I'm saying if he really wants to prove himself, and then say, yeah, I'm beating your mandatories, Triple G. I'm beating your mandatories. So that would be a really good thing to do, a good idea for me if I were guiding Billy Joe Saunders. That's what I tell him to do. I'll tell him to go to Japan, make a statement, and beat Murata. But let me know how you guys feel about it. You think Murata is the best way to go to get a Triple G fight or Canelo fight? I think that's the best way to go because in theory you can really say that Billy Joe Saunders there'd be two unified champions in the middleweight division. You can say that Billy Joe Saunders and Triple G is a unified champion. It'll raise his profile definitely, and it'll just raise his profile definitely. And when you get those titles, when you get those lower titles, the thing about it is when you get those titles, you're guaranteed a certain split when you fight a Triple G or Canelo. So it guarantees you a certain split as well. So I mean, it just works for Billy Joe Saunders in all favors, access, and credibility to get that regular title from Ryota Murata. Let me know how you guys feel about it. You think that's the best way for him, or you think fighting a big name, just a big name, will just get him that profile raise like a Daniel Jacobs or Charlo? I think the Murata fight is the best way to go for him. He needs to. I think he needs to go to Japan and prove a point. That's my opinion. It will definitely impress me, definitely, because Murata is not a game. He's a power puncher, basically all knockouts. So let me know how you guys feel about it. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace.